public.
We'll do a show called
Why would we do the show?
Clickbait Sports. Up. What?
Huh? We are.
Scooter's the host. Hey, Scoots. All right.
Scooter.
Scooter's going to welcome us all to Clickbait Sports.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another jam-packed episode of an elite free agency, Clickbait Sports. Joining me, starting in the top left, it is none other than TDG, Tom Daniel Grossi. To his right,
That's me.
none other than Brandon Perna. To his right, 5 points vids. And underneath 5, it is a legacy of failure that is urinating tree.
Emphasis on failure, baby.
If there was anyone failing in free agency, we can go ahead and start with the one and only Dallas Cowboys, who day one did not sign a singular individual to their team, the only team in the NFL to do such a thing.
Oh boy.
We then followed that up by signing a long snapper day 2. And recently just signed Eric Kendricks and what I think might amount to one of the best low-key signings, Jordan Lewis. What are your guys' thoughts so far on this Cowboys going all in off season?
I like 5. Got 100
Yeah,
there.
I got him.
Jeez.
Yeah, you guys
Jeez.
want to punish me now.
Start
I
thinking
see
about
how it
punishments
is.
for 5.
Hey, look, Skip Bayless put out a tweet that said all in, comma, my ass, but the comma really wasn't necessary because if you want to talk about taking it in the shorts this offseason, the Cowboys fans have done that. I don't get why Jerry Jones even talks about what he's going to do because it seems like there's like two sides of his face. Like he says one thing to y'all and then does one thing completely different. Obviously, free agency is a key component to the offseason and putting together a roster.
My question.
Yeah, pretty rough if you're a Cowboys fan singular to watch your team do essentially nothing in free agency and lose parts. So
Here's my thing, though. With the way everything is playing out, this is just another typical offseason for the Cowboys. Literally nothing we do this every single year. The problem is when Jerry Jones says we're going all in, and then it's still the same how it is every year. I will say this, though. If we are able to re-sign Tyron Smith, the Cowboys front office might actually look like they know what they are doing because we're going to be able to get a potential all-pro left tackle, say go test the market, and he's going to have to come back potentially to us. We're still going to see if that plays out like that. But honestly, this could be one of the better free agencies for the Cowboys, pending a couple moves. A.J. Dillon, still available. J.K. Dobbins, still available at running back. Zeke.
J.K. Dobbins has tore his Achilles 2 times, so you got to be careful about that.
Zeke, still available.
Yeah.
A lot of things are in play for the Cowboys, so I'm just gonna have a wait and see approach. Really, everything, in my opinion, hinges on where Tyron Smith goes. Unfortunately for both me and 5, the Philadelphia Eagles have been having a great off season as well. I'm not sure where they're getting this money. 5, what are your thoughts looking at our rivals here?
Well, I don't think Hurts's extension kicks in for a while, right? He's still technically on close to the rookie deal, or I don't think his cap hit is on the books yet. So of course they're going to throw money at Saquon Barkley in a gut punch to me. Look, I've even got his jersey back there signed by Saquon Barkley. Sad. I'm not going to burn it or anything. I love him. The Eagles, they continue to make these moves. The one thing I was going to say about the Cowboys that, look at the Chiefs. They've been very active, right? They just won a Super Bowl and they're very active with their signings. They got their guy and Chris Jones. They gave him the bag. And that's what a winning organization does. And the Cowboys just aren't really looking all that interested in doing what they said
Much about anything.
Do. Yeah, I can't think of any example of a team that just quietly did nothing in the offseason and expected to win a lot of games the next year.
I disagree with that completely. No, because I feel like as somebody whose team rarely does anything in free agency, I mean, like the last big splashing we did was in 2018, like when we got Zadarius Smith, Preston Smith, Adrian Amos, and Billy Turner. And then since then, the Packers haven't done much. And while they didn't win a Super Bowl, don't get me wrong, like they were the number one team in the NFC 2 years in a row. And like even last year, I think that free agency should be used, and it is used by a lot of teams to like fill gaps of like that they wouldn't be able to do necessarily in the draft. But I think the best teams build their teams through the draft. And I was talking about this with GPS Aperna. Even the Rams, when they won the Super Bowl, they made some big trades, right? They got like OBJ, Jalen Ramsey, all that stuff. But the majority of their roster came from draft and develop. And so because of that, like if you are just randomly signing people, like it doesn't necessarily equate to success because that's where, problems arise.
The thing you have to consider, though, like the right teams usually make the moves that can make it count. Like, for example, your Green Bay Packers made 2 big free agent signings, Reggie White and Charles Woodson, which helped them win Super Bowl. Sean Jones was another one that did as well. So I think like staying out of free agency entirely is a problem. And your Packers have actually made some big moves as well. Xavier McKinney, Josh Jacobs, they've been brought in. But I think, too, I mean, there's a lot of movement and a lot of moving and shaking. But the Cowboys are just like, I don't get what's happening there. I mean, are they just waiting for like the salaries to rise?
What's happening is a couple things. You have Dak Prescott's contract right now. And for some reason, when a Dallas Cowboys quarterback is up for a large contract, a lot of foolishness for whatever reason ensues. That's where we're at right now. We're in the foolishness sector of this contract negotiation. CeeDee Lamb, we can't really do anything without renegotiating one of those 2 players, actually. But I do understand what the Cowboys are doing. If you look at our roster, we had 7 Pro Bowlers on it last season. It's not like we're in need of a it guy. We have all those guys. We have CD. We have Dak. We have Micah. It's just, it would be nice to see us go out and get someone. And the Packers did go out and get some people,
Top 15.
but they also lost Aaron Jones. What are your thoughts on the overall free agency so far, Tom?
For the Packers or just in general?
For the Packers and in general.
I mean, so there's a couple of things, right? So the Packers, they released Devondre Campbell, which wasn't super surprising, was getting older, really didn't have a great year last year. And I mean, in terms of value, I mean, like we took him off a practice squad and he became an all-pro, right? Like Rasul Douglas, same thing, got him off a practice squad, wound up being great, and then traded him to the Bills last year. So Dave Bakhtiari, Devondre Campbell gone. That makes sense. Packers definitely need to address linebacker in the middle of the field. That's one. 2, Dave Bakhtiari, he gets released. Again, no real surprise there, just disappointing because, that injury that he had years ago just like kind of never went away. His last game as a Packer, he flipped off Chicago, so that's a pretty great memory. So he's on the move. We'll see if he winds up signing because he doesn't plan on retiring. And then Aaron Jones, for about 45 minutes, the Green Bay Packers had the best backfield in the NFL. And it was really nice. It was really, really nice. I want to block Scooter.
My question is, what do you think about the Packers wanting to cut his salary in half again?
Yeah, so last year, Aaron Jones took a pay cut to stay in Green Bay, right? Because they gave him basically the identical deal that we're giving Josh Jacobs now. And Aaron Jones getting older and stuff like that, if you're looking at it from a pure business perspective, like GM thinking about it makes sense because that's what the Packers assumed his market value would be. And it turns out they're not far off because he only signed a 1-year, $7 million deal with the Vikings. Like he wasn't getting paid like insane amounts of money anyway. So I understand from Aaron Jones' perspective of like, bro, this is insulting. I'm not going to take like another pay cut. Like I'm going to go elsewhere. I totally get it. And I also get it from the Packers, 29-year-old running back who I love and adore, is great in the locker room, is one of the best. He's one of my favorite players, if not my favorite player that was on the roster. It sucks. Like it definitely sucks. Josh Jacobs, I'm excited for. I'm worried about last year, but he was dealing with injury and was not on a good Raiders offense. And that offensive line could not run block to save their life. So I'm hoping that they're going to be better this year. And then the big one is Xavier McKinney. He was my number one guy, coming into free agency that I hope they sign. He's going to have to get into a bidding war, which the Packers always are like, oh, yeah, we were in talks, but they always lose. So they went out and they got McKinney, 24 years old, can play all over the field, 5-nose. Like, I'm really, really happy about that signing. And it's
Go ahead.
It sets up the backfield. So like it's not we need to address in the draft because we just didn't do it last year. Like we had 7th rounders back there. And so now just having a guy there who's going to be there for a while and he's only 24, like we're rocking. I'm super duper happy about that.
Yeah, that just kind of signals to me that the Giants are probably going to try to do a quick retool and rebuild and move on from Daniel Jones. Like if you clearly don't believe that this is a playoff team if you're going to just let McKinney walk. And they're going to try to get core pieces back and try to do a rapid rebuild. But, man, he was all over the field last year. Like, he's just definitely the best Giants player in the secondary for sure. Yeah. And you got a treasure there. You're lucky. Unfortunately, you lost Simone Biles' husband. So,
yeah, we lost Simone Biles. Jonathan Owens, a lot of respect, wasn't the best guy back there. So,
yeah, McKinney is definitely an upgrade. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
no,
and I'm upset about that.
So to go back real quick to what Scooter was talking about, I think the disconnect, because even like the Cowboys, when they signed Eric Kendricks, they turned off replies like on Twitter because like Cowboys fans are not very happy right now. And I feel like if Jerry Jones like didn't say anything, they didn't make the all-in comments or anything, like no one would be that upset right now. It would just be like, okay, we're retooling, like we're
business as usual.
But it's because the comment was made that the expectation was presented to fans. And yeah, now you're going to get backlash. Now, they could trade for T. Higgins, right? And then all of a sudden, everyone's going to be like, oh, okay, the Cowboys were waiting the entire time.
So, do they really need T. Higgins, though?
I mean, I think they do need a wide receiver, too, because Cooks was okay. And so, like, he was good in some games, and then he dropped off completely.
Cooks was like 90th in separation amongst all the receivers.
They need a wide receiver, too.
Michael Gallup, we've given him he can look for a trade with teams now. So a decision on him will be made by Saturday is what I read last. But let's keep things moving with a team in an interesting position. That would be the Pittsburgh Steelers. They've come in hot at the very beginning of free agency with this signing of Russ. Russ is now going to be cooking in Pittsburgh. What was your reaction to that sign? As well as, didn't y'all trade Deontay?
Deontay Johnson.
Traded Deontay Johnson to the Carolina Panthers. He's coming in return for Dante Jackson and a late-round pick swap. So the thing is, they're trying to overhaul the offense. Quarterback was a big issue. I said on this program, I figured Russell Wilson would have been the best choice for the Steelers because he would come cheap. He's a veteran. He'd push Kenny Pickett because it would be probably a battle between those two in training camp. And I think Russell Wilson's still a low-end starter. I know he got kind of a bad shake in Denver because him and Sean Payton kind of clashed a little bit. But I think he could still do a job. I think he still has low-end starter capabilities, and I think he can do a job if time needs be. But the big signing for me is Patrick Queen coming from Baltimore. And I know a lot of Ravens fans are saying he was inconsistent before Roquan Smith came in, but considering how bad and battered the linebacking core is, they've tried to bring in a bunch of haphazard ragtag main people like Joe Schobert they tried bringing in, didn't work. Miles Jack they tried bringing in, didn't work. They had a couple linebackers as well. They had Cole Holcomb, Landon Roberts, and Quan Alexander, but Holcomb and Roberts were dealing with injury. Holcomb's out for the season. Quan Alexander was also out for the season. So they mainly need guys that can just see the bottom middle of the field. They need like a guy who can stay there for a long time. And I think Patrick Queen could be that guy. Mm-hmm. I was hoping for somebody like a Devin White, but Queen, I feel, is a tier above that.
He's above. Yeah. Mm-hmm. He's 100% above.
Yeah, it's a good pick.
Absolutely. I think so.
Real quick, just to address this, I'm curious how y'all feel about the Titans, because like I'm happy they got Ridley, but good God, that is a lot of money for
They
his
paid a
age and the
lot.
production. That is a lot of money.
My point from the beginning is they should have just kept AJ Brown.
Fair, James.
They should have, but once again, this is a new regime, and they fired the guy. That's what they said. I mean, it's the same thing. It's probably a regret right now. It's like they wish they would have paid AJ Brown, but the problem with Calvin Ridley, he's a wide receiver 2, and you're paying him wide receiver 1 money. And I don't know if that's really going to work. I think Calvin Ridley had his moments in Jacksonville, but he was very inconsistent, had a little bit of the dropsies in certain aspects with the Jags. So my question is, like, I don't know if this is really going to fix their issues. I will say, though, I am really happy for Mason Rudolph. So $2.87 million, $3.62 million.
I actually think Tony Pollard will thrive in Tennessee. I think he was still recovering from his injury last season in Dallas. I think he's going to have a good year.
That move just kind of shocks me because you let Zeke walk, right? And then you don't give Pollard the bag, who seems like that who you were choosing. And it just kind of perplexing to me that you end up letting
It was the
Pollard
injury.
walk. Yeah, I mean, injuries, yeah. But
he wasn't as explosive this past season, which is his selling point, essentially. So,
yeah, it sucks.
didn't see
That's why it's hard to give a running back money. It's hard to
I mean,
commit.
there was plenty of teams that did. There was plenty of teams that said, "Here you go."
Well, I mean, I wouldn't
Henry.
say it's the right move, but like, yeah, you're hoping that everyone's looking for that McCaffrey deal, right? McCaffrey definitely is worth what he's being paid, even though he's a running back on a second contract. But generally, that's an exception, not the rule.
Yeah.
I mean, Jacobs, Pollard.
But no, I think Pollard behind Spears is going to be fun because one, like, if Pollard's not getting like RB1 carries and he could still be like a pass catching back or what have you, like, I really am high on Spears. I think he's going to have a really good season as RB1. But yeah. It makes sense for the Cowboys not to keep him. I mean, he just wasn't, whether it was injury, whether it was whatever, he just wasn't that guy last year. I don't think they're going to give him that kind of money.
Lord Taco, you son of a bee.
Speaking of teams that may or may not be having a good season, let's transition to a team that we know will not be having a good season, and that is your Denver Broncos. Perhaps the worst team coming into the new season. No matter what happens between now and then, they are having a fire sale. They have literally gotten rid of multiple people. The latest, which was Jerry Jeudy to the Browns. Perna, how are we feeling? Like, just walk us through your feelings, emotions.
Good.
What's going on?
Good. This is exactly what we needed to do. Finally, I tell you, it's like a root canal. Okay, rebuilding, going to the bottom is not fun. It's painful, but you got to get it done. If you want to keep on smiling, Scooter, you got to get that root canal done. And what I love is we are signing none of these quarterbacks so far. They might sign a Jimmy G. I don't know. I don't want him to sign anybody.
I like Jimmy G.
I don't want him to sign any because we don't need that guy. We have it. His name's Jarrett Stidham. He can do exactly what any of those other idiots can do, and that is start games and lose games for you.
Yeah,
that's how your rookie is ready to go. So, like, if we paid him $10 million last year, Stidham, why would we spend another dime on another quarterback right now? Plus, it came out that they're eating the big chunk of the cap hit for Russ this season. And we should have, at this moment, I think they have like 100 or 113 million in cap space for 2025. So we're pushing all that money forward. And now, Lord Taco, that better not be for me. I swear to. Okay, good. No, fuck.
Tacos.
Damn it.
I'm happy. Honestly, I'm
we're
glad
pushing that money forward. So it sucks.
My question to you, Brandon, is have you been looking at mock drafts for 2025 already or not yet?
I mean, I've been paying attention to mock drafts since December, Scooter.
No, for the following season, not this coming up.
Oh,
season.
2025. No,
2025.
Yeah,
no.
who's a quarterback in that draft?
Shadur Sanders, Colorado's own, baby.
Play poor for Shadur.
No, it's go to the sewer for Shadur, baby.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Go to the sewer for Shadur.
You have to put all of your house,
We're
all of
getting
your
JJ
money,
McCarthy.
all of
You're
your
gonna
possessions
like it.
on the line. Who would you say is starting for the Denver Broncos at QB next season, Brandon Perk?
Week 1,
Week 1.
King of STDs, Jared Stids, baby.
All right, let's see how it plays out. Let's see
rough.
how it plays out. And let's see.
They're gonna rock with Stidham, and they're gonna draft a rookie quarterback. And depending on who that rookie quarterback is, I think Stidham's starting. Unless like they do something nuts and trade up or into the top 3, they just don't have really the capital to do it. Then it would be one of those guys. But they like McCarthy, they like Bo Nix, maybe they like Rattler, they like Pratt as well. If they can't get any of those guys, so we'll see. And Sam Howell just went to the Seahawks. So Sam Howell was a guy that I could have seen them trading for. Justin Fields, of course, is still out there. I do not think in any world Sean Payton actually believes Justin Fields can do what Russell Wilson couldn't. They're the same guy, right? They play the quarterback position the same, and they have the same flaws. So if Russ wasn't a fit for Sean Payton, I don't think Fields is. But who knows? Sean Payton's he's a complicated fella.
But what you're right though. You're just looking at tank commanders right now with that huge cap hit. Like you can't win games. Like you're just like, all right, put on the helmet and the headset and just drive this tank right into the Colorado mountains, just right into the Rockies.
We're
Slam right
ripping off all of the bandages. There wasn't just one Band-Aid we had to pull. We had we have no skin left on our body after.
You're gonna have a great year views wise, but you're gonna have an awful year mentally health wise watching your team. It's gonna be frustrating as all get out. Like they're gonna lose in amazing ways.
But at least it feels like we know where
ways.
we're going this time.
Yes, that's true.
You
don't have a football boner.
There is light at the end of the tunnel. Is that still the case for the New York Giants, however? Looking like you guys could maybe be the Broncos of the NFC. Now, you guys did end up signing Brian Burns.
Got him. Oh,
Great
we're playing a Gardner Minshew.
This is the one that really hurt. This is the one that hurt.
Yeah.
Watching my hero.
Have you had the little boy conversation with Max yet?
Yeah, sure enough. Saw him. He's a big boy, is what he is. Yeah, dang. But nah, man, it was awesome. You know, those are guys, you know, not as much fun to play against.
Look at that. Look at those two hugging it out.
Man, why didn't you convince the front office to get Gardner Minshew?
Yeah, that'd be fun.
I would have taken him.
You would have had a football boner.
He's the only bridge quarterback I would have accepted, and Sam Howell's the only quarterback who you could argue has like upside and a possibility to start. And Howell going to the Seahawks, I think that's a nice move for them.
Honestly, you're going to get Jimmy G, and you're going to like it, Brandon.
Oh, we're getting no.
So the Giants are like sending mixed signals right now, right? Like they've replaced everyone that they've lost essentially, but they're also not making like fantastic moves. Yes, we picked up John Runyon. I mean, okay, Burns was a great move, but they're setting up for 2 years from now because clearly I don't think they believe in Daniel Jones as a long-term solution. So you're going to have to address that, right? They're either in a position where they take a JJ McCarthy or something at 6, which would absolutely, if you guys want to watch a meltdown on stream, if that happens, I'm going to go nuts.
I'm going to love it.
Yeah.
If you're going to laugh.
Yes.
McCarthy.
Dude, I love you.
Basically, Daniel. Like, if you think Justin Fields is Russell Wilson, JJ McCarthy is just a younger Daniel Jones, right? And probably slower.
I'm gonna.
Jones at least did things in college.
I'm just like, yeah. If you notice him, like he doesn't have like. he's basically the same player, and I don't know. Like in Michigan's offense wasn't all that complicated, and
He was a
so
game
much.
manager. He wasn't really forced to throw.
And the Giants they're in a big shift, right? If Saquon's gone, they're going to have a more intricate offense. If Devin Singletary and is your starting running back essentially,
Who's your go-to guy? Like, who is the guy?
nobody, especially on wide receiver. Like Hyatt hasn't developed yet. Wan'Dale Robinson is like your secret weapon. Like there's a lot of question marks. We'll see what they do in the draft at 6. The Marvin Harrison Juniors, the Drake Mays, the Caleb Williams, all those guys are Jaden Daniels probably will be gone. And so you're stuck with the JJ McCarthy's, the Bo Nixes at 6. They're in not a great position to draft. So maybe they punt this year. Again, I said, I just got a 50 bomb. But thank you, by the way, JNP and A Pizzle and Joshua Hall. But it's again mixed signals on what they want to do. But I guess there's one signal that's clear. It's that Daniel Jones will almost 99,000% be out. He's not gonna. But Burns, I thought was a great pickup. Other than that, everything's meh.
My question is who would you be your ideal draft pick? Would it be Joe Alt or would it be somebody else?
For me, if Joe Shane is trying to build a winner and then get a quarterback later, then Joe Alt is the pick, right? But they just signed a guard and a tackle. There's going to be a crowd there. They might, how do you say this name? Ulamuner? Jermaine Uluamuner. Like he could just be, they could sign him and cut him because if you add an alt, like there's too much depth there. So
why not just go receiver at 6?
Why not?
It's possible, but who's out there? Like this isn't that one year where Devontae Smith.
Neighbors.
You could go. Neighbors. You could do even like
That would
trade
be
down.
good. That would be good.
I feel like you have bigger issues.
Yeah, but it doesn't really address the biggest need, which is
y'all need a Malik Neighbors. Y'all need something.
We could.
Romo Dunes. Oh my God, he would be perfect for the
Romo
Giants.
Dunes. Okay.
Romo Dunes, baby.
I just know that we're probably going to
good.
win like 6 games next year, so it's going to be rough.
And hopefully none of those come against the Cowboys. Now, since we've recapped each of our teams' free agency thus far, who do you guys think is having the best free agency and worst free agency NFL-wide? Who's doing it the best right now? Chat,
Commanders, maybe?
Tough
Commanders
call.
doing pretty good.
The Commanders
aren't doing too bad.
Signing elderly players who used to be good in their prime. I'm not
You
so
just
sure.
signed Eric Kendricks, bro.
Yeah, you're having a bad one. I mean, how do you feel about them taking Tyler Biadasz?
Again, we are a 12-5 team. We do not need that much.
To be fair, Scooter, I'm working on a video and I said the Commanders would basically, if their plan is to time travel back to 2019, their roster is going to be elite.
Oh, yeah.
Elite. They got
But they just picked up
Cowboys players.
2 better picks by dealing Howell, and they addressed their linebacker need was big, and I think Luvu and I think Wagner doesn't get enough credit for still being good. And they added 3 edge players. They're all depth guys, and they could take edge in the draft still. I don't know. They've added a ton of dudes and have not spent a lot of money. So
This isn't even complete. They got Dante Fowler too from the Cowboys.
yeah,
So
Fowler's in there too.
That's not official yet, so he's going to be an edge.
They've poached 3 of our players. But I don't feel like any of these people move the needle for the Commanders.
They took
They're
your
not
dude.
looking to
Dorrance
move the needle. This is a
Armstrong.
long term, this is a
also-
long burn for the Commanders.
Yeah.
They're still trying to fix the Snyder Rot.
Someone
So,
got a hundo.
Yeah.
That's got to be Scooter.
ain't me, thank the Lord.
It's me. We're done.
Yes.
This is going to be an interesting one today. I'll tell you.
Them clown more.
So the Commanders are having a good free agency.
I'm going to vote for the Ravens, like just signing Derrick Henry. Like they already had a good roster. And
That's
if he
gonna
stays
be-
healthy. Yeah, I mean, if you're going to add that solid running game, yeah, they signed Aguilar, who would who has stone hands. But I like what they move. It's sort of like less is more. I know we've clowned the Cowboys this whole time, but like Derrick Henry is a good get, and only a 2-year, $60 million contract. Like, come on, if he can be effective, and especially in the postseason, then Baltimore is very dangerous.
I think getting out of BK back for them was huge.
Yeah.
You don't want to tackle their running back, and you can't tackle their quarterback. It's going to be very, very exciting on Madden.
Fair.
I'm not really excited to play against the Ravens in Madden now going forward. That's going to be disgusting.
Yeah.
Very exciting. I would like to say the Eagles are having a great post free agency. I don't know how they're able to sign C.J. Gardner-Johnson, or how even he was willing to go back to the team. I thought the bridges had been burnt. They get Saquon. I think they're having a really great draft, mainly because their GM is a University of Florida grad. Well, let's switch it and go the other route. What teams are having a terrible free agent? Not named the Dallas Cowboys.
Vikings. Losing Kirk Cousins, even though he got paid a lot of money, that hurts big time for them. Because
really
now you're rolling with a rookie and Sam Darnold.
I like their Blake Cashman signing. I think that was a really good one.
I think like losing Danielle Hunter too, that hurts.
Yeah,
I mean,
Hunter's-
Jonathan
he's
Grenard's
older.
not bad, but I think the thing too is they're going through another transitionary phase, and
Grenard's-
losing Kirk Cousins means they're pretty much out of a playoff hunt. They're punting.
Yeah, they got no quarterback. Nobody. Sam Darnold could start games.
And honestly, I
That
think
is a
we all know
man.
who's having the worst free agency right now. These guys.
See, you say that, but I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure. Time will tell. Time will tell. What are we thinking of?
This is Skull!
I'm broken. I'm done now. Nope. I'm done. Nope.
What are we thinking
That
of?
just gotta hurt.
Big free agency moves. Kirk going to the Falcons. Does that do anything for the Falcons?
Yeah. It makes them playoff contenders, especially in that division. Absolutely. I mean, it's so funny. First of all, the memes have been phenomenal, but it's really funny. Just you see just a shift in how people are even talking about the Falcons now. Like Desmond Ridder, he just got moved out to Arizona. It's just like they have needed somebody back there that could just do even like the bare minimum consistently. Because Ridder like had some flashes, mostly against the Packers, but like he was never
bad.
consistent enough where he's like, oh, I feel really comfortable. But Cousins, at the bare minimum, is going to give you that consistent, like solid to good to sometimes great play. So I think that they have enough talent around to really utilize that.
I think
we
the real
think
problem
that's
is they
still
paid a
true?
lot of money to get him. Like, I mean,
Yes.
like I mean, $100 million guaranteed for a 36-year-old coming off a major injury. I mean, that's risky, bold, needed, but still, it's a lot.
I just want better for Collins, and hopefully this will get him the ball in the vicinity of his hand more often.
Did you see that where like Cousins was, by the way, they're also potentially in trouble for tampering. Same thing with the Eagles. That's a whole different thing.
I think
But
they should
What's the fine for that? It's
Yes.
just
First round pick?
it's
the
Fine, maybe
funny
like a
thing was
third or
that
fourth round
Cousins, like at his press conference, was like, "Oh yeah, about number 8 and about getting it," and talked to Pitts. He's like, "Well, I just want like more targets every game." And he's like, "And I knew he was joking," and everyone online's like, "He's not joking." Kyle Pitts is not kidding in any way, shape, or form.
free this man. Free Kyle Pitts. Any other big splashes that we have?
or losers. I thought the Panthers had a pretty rough.
Well, the
offseason.
Panthers have to pay a lot because of just
Yeah.
the Panther
The
tax.
Panthers are it's the Panther like they lose Brian Burns when they could have had 2 first-rounders for him, and then they just sell him off like it's on Craigslist. Like the Panthers have had a rough 5 years, and it hasn't gotten any better.
I
for
would
sure.
say rough free agencies, Buffalo and Miami, like the cap hit them hard. I mean, they lost a lot of talent, both sides.
Oh, Texans actually having a good draft. Or I'm sorry, free agency.
Texans have had an interesting one. I think like the problem is like acquiring Mixon like at that contract. I mean, it's interesting. They did need a running back, but I think the thing is they're trying to load up. I mean, I like some of the signings they did, but at the same time, it's like I need a little more to figure out where they're going to go.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna say, do we like Joe Flacco going to the Colts to back up Anthony Richardson?
Like it for the Colts.
Yeah. I mean, the guy revived his career. He was sitting on the couch, right? And then goes out and leads the Browns to a playoff berth. And now he's signed for the next year, and he's going to coach. And look, AR might very well get hurt next year, and Flacco will be seeing the field again.
Why the Browns wouldn't sign Flacco? No,
Well, they have famous Jameis, dude. They have the greatest Costco quarterback ever exist, man.
They have
everything in bulk, baby.
They could have had the guy who saved their season, who knows the offense, could have just been so steady and solid there.
I think
they're just jealous because they took Jerry Jeudy off your hands.
No, I'm happy. I'm happy for that.
I definitely think the Browns will lead the league in illegal touching penalties next year.
Okay. The worst, or not the weirdest move to me out of all the moves that have happened, and let me know if you guys agree with this, was Mac Jones to the Jags. That was just a bizarre one.
Not really.
I don't think it's bizarre. I just think it's a backup, and it's like, hey, all right, let's see if it works out. I mean, we got him for next to nothing. Like, why not?
That's how you do it. The Giants got Drew Lock and Dan Jones, both taken in the same draft. Got Mac Jones and Trevor Lawrence in Jacksonville. Every team's eventually going to be like this current draft class, where there's possibly going to be like, 4, maybe 5 quarterbacks going in the first round. Same thing's going to be happening in 3 years.
Yeah.
They'll be trading for guys, and it's be like the 2 top picks are now backups for each other on the same team because they didn't work out.
Drake May and Caleb Williams will probably be on the same
They'll
team.
both be Bears.
Of course. Yeah, you never know. You never know who's going to pan out. Mac Jones looked very promising coming out of Alabama. Like,
he looked good his rookie year.
The dude. Yeah, and he looked good his rookie year, and now he's garbage. But look at also like Baker Mayfield, right? He had promise, and then he was doing commercials. Then he was cast off. He was a Ram for a day, and now he just signed a 3-year deal.
Yeah,
got
paid
paid.
some of that money back. Tampa Bay's actually had a pretty decent season as well.
Baker was injured.
Yes,
throwing shoulder.
Mac Jones just got destroyed behind a terrible offensive line. So, I mean, the one thing that I have to give, Mac Jones some pause is like he made some terrible throws when he was not under duress. And those are alarming things that you see on film from him. And yeah, it's a very realistic possibility that he could get some snaps next year because Trevor Lawrence has been banged up. So, I guess it's a good move, but you don't want him to start more than 2 or 3 games for you. If you're Jacksonville, you're in a lot of trouble if that's what's happening.
I think it definitely played a part in it. Yeah.
Before we go to the countdown, let's all just go and say one player we hope that our team signs going forward.
And then I'll add one thing. Actually, give your team a grade because that's the title of the show. You got to give your team.
Okay. I'll start since I
grade.
Recommended this question. Tyron Smith. If we'd signed Tyron Smith, we would have had a successful free agency in my mind. If we do nothing else, Tyron Smith, and our grade right now is incomplete because we are just getting started. Stephen Jones had a quote basically when he was asked about, Jerry saying all in. And his quote was basically, you do not win free agency on day 1 or day 2 or even day 3. You win free agency over the course of free agency. And he said, free agency is not the only place we're going to think of getting players from. There's the draft, and then there's even trades you can make during the season. So Cowboys, once again, are taking a more holistic approach, giving them an incomplete. Right now, it would be an F if it ended today. But like I said, we take a more holistic approach.
It's going to be close.
Honestly, I'm happy.
Get those super chats in. There's going to be some punishments here.
I'm happy it ain't me.
All right, what is the Cowboys grade and why is it an F?
I said it was incomplete because we take a more holistic view of things. But yeah, then the player who I wanted to sign was Tyron Smith. What about you, 5? Who would you?
By the way, Oh, when I was in high school, like or middle school, and you got an incomplete grade, like I always thought of that as a win for me because I'd be like, well, at least it's not an F, right?
Exactly.
I'd be like, Dad, come on, don't ground me for an incomplete. It says it's literally incomplete. It's not finished yet, even though it was like a D+ or something. I don't really think the Giants need to do anything at this point. Like, yeah, okay, Marquise Brown. Yeah, like, you could sign a wide receiver, and that maybe punts you from having to draft a wide receiver and use capital. But this team has a lot more holes, so I don't think the Giants need to sign anybody. And I will give them a C+ for this offseason in terms of free agency because, yeah, they added Burns, but they lost Saquon. So
And McKinney,
which you knew was coming. So for the A move, they got 2 Ds. Double Ds. My favorite.
Double D.
A player I'd love the Packers to still get is Cameron Curl. He's a safety from the Commanders who's a free agent. He's like just a really, really solid player. And he'd be great to go with McKinney, and I don't think he would command an insane contract. So that would be nice. And honestly, like right now where they're at, it's probably a B+. Because Josh Jacobs, I think there's a little bit of concern just of what he did last year, but you just got to hope that you're going to get previous year's Josh Jacobs, and if you do, then it's a home run. And then McKinney is just a complete game changer for the backfield, so I'm super stoked about it.
I think for the Steelers, I think there's in terms of pipe dream, I would love to get somebody like a T. Higgins or a Justin Jefferson and really game break as a number 1. I don't know if they're going to do it, though. More realistically, I'm thinking someone like a Curtis Samuel. I'm thinking a slot receiver can really help there, really stretch out the field, and then draft a wide receiver 2 either in the first or the second round. Right now, I would give the Steelers a B+ or an A-. I want to see what they do at wide receiver before I make a final judgment.
Well, I hope the Broncos sign 0 players. That is the boat I am on. And if it's sinking, going down with that. Unless nobody signs Justin Simmons, which they have not yet, and he comes back to Denver on an even more team-friendly deal. I'll take Justin Simmons back, and that's my only desire.
Okay.
Seminole, let me dream, dude. Come on.
What is your current grade for the Broncos?
C. We are doing exactly what we should be doing. It is not fun, but it's necessary.
Then
And
wouldn't that be
hopefully
an A?
it's a pass. It gets us a pass into the next season or this season.
Felt like for a second you were describing this show.
Someone
Let's
just
go.
said 3 years we've been doing this. 3
Yeah.
years, March
3
11th.
freaking years of this
Which
crap.
is crazy. We somehow
What is
survived
wrong
3
with
years,
us?
which is
That's
crazy.
Crazy. We've
I mean,
nuts.
not all of us have met. In the
And
3
nothing
years.
of value was
And then all
somehow
of you now,
gained.
I'm done. I collected my Infinity Stones.
Well, I mean, you guys already gained. Brandon and Tom can leave right now and not see a blink of an eye. I think you'll be all right there,
Yeah.
kids.
All right, let us go to the countdown. We will. Okay.
That's
What, Tree?
that was the greatest benefit. Scooter Magruder.
Oh, yeah, that's me. I forgot. All right. Here we go. 2019, 18, 17, 16, 15, 4. The Cowboys aren't doing anything. What are they waiting for? Nobody knows. Jerry said they were gonna go all in. And Saquon ditched the Giants like they were the garbage bin. Bye-bye. Fly, Eagles, fly.
That might have been your top rap of all time.
Thank you. Thank you.
I think that was
Honestly, that looks like the comma from Skip Bayless's tweet.
Yeah, still putting in work. All in
All
my
in.
ass. All in my ass.
I told you, nobody wants it. Nobody wants Justin Fields. Nobody wants him.
The market on him is deflated.
All right, I made
Inflated like a football
$192.89.
Well, then I will say I made 169.
Oh,
Nice.
no.
9.99. So I'm out.
Oh no,
$99. I am happy. I am out.
Heard a
You got
lot.
$99.
I made 400 minus 300.
Oh.
Dude!
1197, 111, 96.
Oh, this is the closest one on
What
record.
do you got,
He
buddy?
pulled a
Did you
Gordon
lose
Ramsay.
again?
He pulled a Gordon Ramsay. That was the worst.
What do you got, Perna?
Lord Taco, you son of a gun.
Oh, yes.
276.
Yeah.
All right, so hold on, because I think the Eras concert comes out today, if I'm not mistaken, on Disney Plus. So Perna still has to dress up as Taylor Swift, talk an entire episode in Taylor Swift lyrics and/or song titles. Has to watch the Eras thing and give a detailed report on it. So do we want to just continue adding on to this?
Add it on.
I'm waiting for the dress, by the way, for the Taylor. It's been ordered. I'm just waiting for the Taylor dress.
I think he should have to fillet Travis Kelce at this point, right? Like that would have to be.
Sorry, Travis.
Part
I do have to blow you per the punishment on my show. You may not want me to, but these are the stipulations of Clickbait Sports.
Well,
Yeah.
there goes my
Rules
dream
are
of Curtis
rules.
Samuel.
Different
Just
category.
breaking.
Oh wow!
Bills have just signed Curtis Samuel,
Curtis
$30
Samuel,
$30 million.
That's a nice signing right there.
I wanted Carmel for the Steelers. Damn it.
Ooh, I like the idea of a Travis Kelce. So he has to get a blow up doll and a Kelce jersey, and he's got to have the Kelce blow up doll sit next to him, and he's got to have a little conversation with him.
Browns, my sympathies.
I
What
gotta
do you
buy a
think of that,
blow-up doll
Travis?
and a Kelsey
Yep.
jersey, and they gotta
Yes.
sit next to me during my Taylor Swift episode.
That
Yep.
honestly would be pretty great.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'm in.
fine.
All right. We have all
That'd
agreed.
actually be
Hands
pretty
in.
great.
Yep. All right. Good.
And Joe
That's it.
Mixon for a
Thank
3-year
you.
It's
extension.
even better. You escaped.
Wow.
You escaped.
Peanut Gallery comes
All right, gents,
through.
what do we got coming out?
I have legal in the NFL, illegal in the UFL video coming out. So, what is banned in the UFL that is legal in the NFL, and it's coming out right after this show, like instantly uploaded.
There you go. Tree.
Well,
Fast. It's
I'm
ready to
working
go.
on a video on the 2024 NHL trade deadline that should be out tonight.
Nice. Scoots.
how are the Lightning looking? Tree?
They're on the fringes of wild card.
You like
contention.
my
Brought in a
trades
few
here in
guys.
Colorado?
I mean, they did. I mean, I liked them there. The Penguins are selling for the first time since high school, and they're bad. They are a bad hockey team, and I know nobody feels bad for me.
I have no one does. I have a NFC East free agency meeting coming, shooting and editing that tomorrow. Please pray for me because they always take a long time to make.
Oh, thank you. Turner, what you got coming out?
If I can finish it, winners and losers, but things keep changing, so that'll either be up like in 2 hours or tomorrow morning.
Appreciate you, Brian. Yeah, I put out every NFL fan's reaction to free agency. Stuff is going to keep breaking, but like I had to put it out at some point. So
Yeah.
that came out about an hour ago. Go check that out. And I'll probably be doing scripted tomorrow. So,
Do what we got to do.
Oh, an off-season script.
that's right, baby. If the NFL was scripted, there was so much that happened, especially with like players going to rival teams. It's just it's
Yep.
too good.
And
Yeah,
honestly,
too
it's
good.
still coming. I mean, this is just the
Yeah.
beginning.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm sure the Strouds will make an appearance.
Oh, they will. They will. But folks, we appreciate you watching 3 years into Clickbait Sports.
Yes.
We can't guarantee we'll be here next week, but
We're
Yeah.
stopping the show when one of our teams wins the Super Bowl. But so that's next season.
Ooh, that would be
Packers,
like,
yeah.
yeah. Okay.
All right.
The Giants going to the Super Bowl.
bye.
No more clickbait.
All right,
Goodbye.
no more
Bye.